So Euphoria Season 3 finally premiered, and I have to say, after waiting nearly 3 years for new episodes, this was not what I expected. And I'm not alone in thinking something feels fundamentally different about this show. Let me walk you through what happened in this first episode and why so many longtime viewers are scratching their heads. For those who might be coming to this conversation fresh, Euphoria is HBO's teen drama that premiered back in 2019. It became a cultural phenomenon, particularly with younger audiences, thanks to its raw portrayal of addiction, identity, and the messy reality of teenage life. The show made Zendaya a household name beyond her Disney Channel days and earned her 2 Emmy Awards. But this third season, which just debuted after production delays and real-world tragedy, feels like a completely different show. The first major change you notice immediately is the music. The previous 2 seasons had a very distinctive sound, largely thanks to the artist Labrinth, who created this atmospheric, emotional soundtrack that became inseparable from the show's identity. Well, the weekend before the Season 3 premiere, Labrinth performed at Coachella and announced he'd removed all his music from the new season. This came after he'd posted some pretty direct criticism on social media, including messages that said things like, F his label, double F Euphoria. Whatever happened behind the scenes, the creative divorce is final. And you absolutely notice it. The show feels stripped of something essential, like watching a movie with the wrong score. Then there's the time jump. We knew going in that several years had passed since Season 2 ended. The characters are no longer in high school. Rue, Zendaya's character who struggled with addiction throughout the first 2 seasons, is now working as an Uber driver in Los Angeles. She's also apparently serving as a drug mule for her former dealer, Lori, trying to pay back a $100,000 debt by swallowing balloons filled with drugs and smuggling them across the Mexican border. The premiere opens with these scenes of her and others gagging and struggling to swallow these packages, and it's shot in a way that feels gratuitous rather than meaningful. Cassie, played by Sydney Sweeney, is now engaged to Nate, the violent, manipulative character who's caused so much damage throughout the series. But here's the thing. We never saw how they got from the end of Season 2 to this engagement. The show just tells us through narration that they're together now and planning a wedding. There's no emotional journey, no explanation of how Cassie could end up marrying someone the audience knows is dangerous. It's just presented as fact. And the wedding planning scenes themselves raised eyebrows. There's a moment where Cassie talks about wanting $50,000 worth of floral arrangements and tells Nate she doesn't want a ghetto wedding. That specific word choice sparked immediate backlash online, with viewers questioning why that language was written into the script and what it says about the character or the writer's perspective. Speaking of Sydney Sweeney's scenes, there's another moment that's generating conversation for all the wrong reasons. Her character appears in what can only be described as a dog costume, drinking water from a bowl, in what seems to be preparation for starting an OnlyFans account to pay for her extravagant wedding. It's played as comedy, maybe, but it comes across as uncomfortable and exploitative. And this gets to a larger criticism that's been following the show's creator, Sam Levinson. Levinson previously created a show called The Idol for HBO, which was critically panned and canceled after 1 season. The main criticism was that it included excessive nudity and sexual content that served no narrative purpose. Viewers and critics accused Levinson of including these elements simply because he could, not because the story required them. Now, watching Euphoria Season 3, that same criticism is resurfacing. There are moments of nudity that don't advance the plot or reveal character. They just exist, and it makes viewers uncomfortable in a way that feels different from the show's earlier seasons, which dealt with difficult content, but usually with purpose. The show has also made a geographic shift that's disorienting for longtime viewers. For 2 seasons, the setting felt ambiguous. Maybe somewhere in the Midwest or a generic American suburb. Now everyone is explicitly in Los Angeles. Rue is driving people down the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Lexi, her younger sister, is working on the Warner Brothers studio lot. Maddie, another main character, is managing an influencer and attending red carpet premieres. It's this sudden Hollywoodification of a show that used to feel grounded in a more universal setting. There's also the question of what happened to Fezco. This was a character played by Angus Cloud, who tragically passed away in July 2023. At just 25 years old, the show addresses his character's absence by saying Fez is in prison for 30 years. There's a scene where Rue mentions that Fez says he misses Lexi and that she should call him, implying Rue stays in touch, but Lexi has distanced herself. The premiere episode included a dedication card to Angus Cloud, and reports indicate we'll see him in later episodes that were filmed before his death. It's a painful reminder of real tragedy intersecting with fictional storytelling. Another real-world figure appearing this season is Trisha Paytas, the controversial internet personality and YouTuber. According to reports, she appears in episode 5, though her exact role hasn't been revealed. Given the show's new Los Angeles setting and apparent move toward commentary on influencer culture, her cameo makes more sense than it would have in previous seasons. But it's still a surprising choice that signals how different the show's world has become. Behind the scenes, the vibe seems equally strange. At the Season 3 premiere, the cast interaction was notably awkward. Zendaya arrived, took her photos alone, and went directly into the screening. There were videos of her inside watching the episode, which contradicts rumors that she only stayed for 10 minutes, but the visible distance between cast members was striking. When she arrived, there was a moment where Sydney Sweeney was nearby, and they barely acknowledged each other. Some observers noted a brief smile and hello, but nothing like the camaraderie you'd expect from co-stars reuniting after years apart. This feeds into speculation that Zendaya has distanced herself from the show. She just completed an extensive press tour for her film The Drama, doing interviews and appearances worldwide. For Euphoria, there's been almost nothing. No Instagram posts promoting it, no talk show appearances discussing the new season, minimal engagement. For someone who won 2 Emmys for this role and used the show as a launching pad to major film stardom, the silence is noticeable. In interviews, creator Sam Levinson has been asked directly whether this is the final season. His answer has been carefully non-committal. He said he writes every season like it's the last, and if HBO decided not to continue, he'd be satisfied with where things end. He mentioned he's still editing episodes 7 and 8, that he has young children and wants to spend time with his family. That exhaustion might be mutual. This season took nearly 3 years to arrive, delayed by the Hollywood strikes, by scheduling conflicts as the cast became major stars with other commitments, and by the tragedy of Angus Cloud's death. The enthusiasm that surrounded seasons 1 and 2 feels absent now, replaced by a sense of obligation to finish what was started. For viewers who loved the first 2 seasons, this premiere is challenging. The show that once felt vital and necessary now feels like it's lost its way. The absence of Labyrinth's music removes an emotional anchor. The time jump creates distance from the characters we thought we knew. The tonal shifts toward gratuitous content, and the Los Angeles setting make it feel less universal, and more specifically about a world most viewers don't inhabit. And yet, there's still craft here. Zendaya remains a compelling actress even when the material doesn't serve her. The cinematography is still striking. Individual scenes have power even if the overall narrative feels scattered. It's possible that as the season continues, these 8 episodes will cohere into something meaningful. It's also possible this is simply a show that should have ended after season 2, before the delays and departures and real-world sadness changed what it could be. The question now is whether viewers will stick with it. The premiere drew strong ratings powered by curiosity and the HBO brand and years of anticipation. But will people return for episode 2 and 3 and beyond? Or will this season be remembered as a cautionary tale about letting too much time pass, about a creative vision that went off course, about a show that couldn't recapture what made it special? I'm curious what you think. If you watched the season 3 premiere, did it work for you? Are you planning to continue with the season? Or was this enough to make you step away? And for those who haven't watched Euphoria before, does this sound like something you'd want to start from the beginning? Or does the current state of the show make you want to skip it entirely? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more television analysis and entertainment commentary, subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching!